Hello, Leo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of January 18th through the 24th. And during that time, we have a new moon that comes in on the 19th. And of course, that's a good time for a fresh start, new beginnings, a good time to learn a new skill or start any projects that you've wanted to, both inner and outer, or even make new decisions. We then have the waxing crescent energy that comes in for the rest of the week. And that's a time of heightened senses, a good time to really buckle down and work on those things that we've already started during the new moon, and a good time to live up to our expectations and our intentions. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Leo. So, as always, please take what resonates today and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is you are good enough. Every time I see that card, I want to say, and gosh darn it, people like you, which is what was the guy's name? Stuart Smalley, SNL. Dating myself here, but it was a little skit on SNL that was very funny. I can't remember the guy's name. I think he went on to be a congressman, senator, something. I can't remember. That guy from SNL from years ago. Anyway, as I'm shuffling, Leo, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you learn something new. Of course, that goes along with our moon energy this week to do that, but pick a topic that you've had some interest in and then take the time to really do a deep dive and focus on it. And this could be, just a couple hours, but maybe read a book or two, listen to a lecture, just set aside some time and take notes and study and just really, really learn that thing that you've had some interest in. I think as adults, we forget to do that sometimes. So that is my fun weekly reminder for you. All right, Leo, let's get into this reading. January 18th through the 24th, you are good enough. And your overall present energy right now, Leo, is the King of Wands. You are good enough and you are very knowledgeable about something that you are very passionate in. So if you feel like something is shaking your confidence a little bit, just ask what that is. Maybe it is time to learn something new there, or try something new with something that you're very passionate about. But it looks like you've taken the time to really, to really do the learning of the thing. Maybe you need to deep dive on another aspect of it, right? Something else that you need to learn about it, but that's your energy, is that you're kind of on top of it when it comes to that. Your current situation is the Knight of Wands. So what sort of action, on this thing that you're so passionate about? And maybe this is new action for you, new things. Like I said, new moons are about, let's try this, let's do this thing that I love to do, but let's try a different angle. Let's do this thing in a different way. And I'm gonna say, let's use like an artist as an example. Let's say that you are a painter, and for years and years now you've been painting in a particular way, and you take your you're selling your paintings in a particular way or showing them to the public, and you just decide that I'm going to do this art show over here that I've never done before. Maybe this is a thing, something new, some new way of doing it. Maybe you decide to start an Instagram that has your paintings on it. There's some new thing that you're thinking, like a new path in how you're presenting that art. Of course, tarot is a template. This could template over any situation that you personally might be in, but you're just thinking of, how do I present this in a new way? What is a new way that I can go about this passion, right? At the root of your situation is you're feeling a little bit of an outsider here with the Six of Pentacles. I'm sorry, Five of Pentacles. I don't know why I said six. Maybe there's something that's going on there with your passion that does make you feel a little bit like an outsider. And what is it? Take that time to examine it. I was talking about learning something new. There might be a way that you do need to take time to read a book or learn something. I always feel like if you don't know a thing, the universe, especially that we're in now, there's 10 other people out there that have been through the exact same thing you're in. Seek them out, whether it be online again, or in a book or a lecture. They're going to tell you how they went about it. So if that's a situation where you're feeling a little bit like an outsider and you're a little bit maybe unsure about how you need to proceed, seek that knowledge out. It's out there for you somewhere. Just be specific about it and find it. In your recent past here, very stable here with the Four of Pentacles. So if you're yeah, you're in a good stable place right now to be able to have the luxury to do whatever this thing it is you're so passionate about. So maintain that stability and march forward. What is on your mind this week is the 10 of Wands. So it looks like there's something that you do want to push through and wrap up. And maybe, again, that's an old way of doing things, or some project, some passion project that you've been working on that you do want to push through and finish and get through. And maybe you are kind of already thinking about, well, what's next? You know, if we're going to finish this thing up, what is the next thing I want to do? How do I want to go about it in the next cycle, or, you know, and do things a little bit differently? What is just ahead of you this week is the Ace of Cups. So it's going to be whatever you choose is going to be something that you love, or the new direction that you're going in is going to be a direction that you love. You're like, oh, this is it. This feels good. You know, when you finally make that decision, because you are good enough and this is a good choice that you've made. And it's almost like instantly recognizable that you make a decision about doing something in a different way, and the first step that you take, it just, you love it immediately. It's like, oh, this is, why haven't I been doing this all along? You know. In your advice position here is the Death card, which definitely goes along with this 10, is whatever the old way is, let it go. Let that old way go, because if you let that go, you make room for the new way to come in. So I just see this as an ending of a way of doing things when it comes to this passion. And again, you know, I use the example of an artist. You know, maybe the old way, maybe you did go to art shows, but you're just noticing that that's not working anymore. You're not selling the paintings that you used to. You're not having, people aren't coming to art shows. So you are going to try like some sort of online outlet. So you just want to get your work in front of people. And the world is ever changing. You know, we're all changing how we do things day to day. You know, we don't like all of it. I know I don't. You know, all the time. There's things that I do complain about, you know, especially just people don't really get, and I'm using this art as an example, but just people don't go out and do things anymore. There's times when, you know, my husband and I will maybe decide to go to dinner one night, and it's like you know, maybe a weekend, and we're like, why is this restaurant empty? Like, where's everybody? Where'd everybody go? We don't like that part. We like, you know, we're from the 90s where it felt like people were out and about and doing things, but many times now people are inside their homes. Everybody's got a, you know, home theater, and you're ordering food and having it brought in. You just don't have to leave your house. So I don't know. We're leavers, and we do want to get out every once in a while and see the world. And it's just, but again, what I'm trying to say is things change. There's kind of an old way of doing things and a new way. And also those cycles are so much quicker now. Um, you know, things change very quickly. Like, oh, this technology or something comes in, it changes how we all do things. So you're going to have to let go of some old way of doing it and make room for the new, but I think you're going to love the new thing that happens. What is beyond your control this week is the Six of Pentacles. There it is. I said six earlier when that five came out. So this is about giving and receiving, um, wherever you are on this. If you're in the giving mode, give. If you're in the receiving mode, it's okay to receive as well. You know, this does seem like there's, you know, we've got some pentacles surrounding this reading, which tells me this, you know, somewhat has a material aspect to it, but, um, you know, it's about, there's other people involved in this, when it comes to this giving and receiving, and this kind of the flow of how this material stuff plays out, if that makes sense to you, that there is some give and take. Again, at the root of it is if you're feeling a little bit like an outsider when it comes to that, and this could be like if you feel like an outsider because you're not making enough money doing this thing that you're so passionate about, finish up the way you're doing it and try a different way. You know, don't get stuck in trying to do the same thing over and over and over and it's not working. Go ahead and make those changes. I feel like you're going to love the change. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is the Seven of Cups here. So your secret desire, I guess, is just to have more choice. And I don't blame you there. You know, you want to have more choices to do things that bring in maybe the money that keeps you from feeling like an outsider. So, you know, do you have those choices? Is that your secret desire, is to have more choice? I doubt if you're trying to avoid having more choices. I mean, choice is kind of a luxury. So, and if those choices aren't there, maybe it's time to look harder, right? Look harder at what those choices could be that maybe those opportunities that you're just not even seeing for whatever reason, just to open your mind a little bit and look around a little bit more. In your outcome position this week is the Queen of Cups. So, you end all of this thinking you're in a good place. You do love this new thing that comes in that you're trying. Um, I don't feel like the dust has settled on any of this. I feel like this is kind of an ongoing thing that you're working on. I don't, like the story doesn't end here. I feel like you're just going to keep trying new things. And I think you should. You're good enough. Hang on to this passion. You just want to take new action in a new direction, but I think you are going to love what you do choose to do. All right, what's hidden from you this week is the stress and anxiety of the Nine of Swords, which is good. That's a good place for that card to be. Yeah, this isn't stressful. I feel like there is an ending. You're going to stop doing things one way, kind of make a little shift, make an adjustment, do things a little bit different way, and then you'd have to stop and evaluate. Is this working? If it's not, you go back to the drawing board and try again. All right, let's see what the Soul Oracle deck, get a final word for Leo. Final message here for Leo for this week. Trust the divine plan. I mean, there may be things that you really can't see why it is that way, but yeah, I think you do have to kind of trust the plan sometimes. But trusting the plan doesn't mean that you don't get to make changes also. Things may come into play when you make a change that's like, oh, again, it just opens up new avenues for you. I hope that's making sense, Leo. All right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Leo this week. And the card that comes out for you is the card that's called Security. True security comes from having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. Make deposits in all those accounts and you'll be a wealthy person indeed. So, is this just monetary or is this about other people? I mean, I am seeing kind of some other people in this reading a little bit as well. Does it involve other people? Make sure that you're putting into those people and collaborating. If this is a collaborative effort, that you're kind of making deposits into those people as well to make sure that those come back and help the whole group if it's something that you're doing as a group. So, Leo, thank you so much for being here. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in your week this week in a positive way. If you're comfortable sharing, drop me a comment down below. Let me know, did any of this resonate with you? Is there some situation that you're going through here that's ending and you're trying a new path on something? I'd be very curious to know about that. Also, if you like my reading style, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel, but most of all, it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much, Leo, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.